Someone slapped me. Am I in a fever? Is this some kind of crazy fever dream I'm having right now? Yes, I remember a while ago when the Roller Beetle was added to the game, the devs did express a desire to add some tracks to Corteria. Cool, I thought. That's interesting. Yeah, a new mount. It's fun, and it's definitely got a lot of interesting tight controls. Looking forward to those new maps if they come to Corteria. 50-50 on whether it would happen at all. I wake up today to find hordes of armchair marketing experts on the internet. And why? Well, because of this.
You asked. We answered. And now Tyria will never be the same. Starting this November, buckle up, because Roller Beetle Racing is coming to Guild Wars 2 as a permanent event. And for 4 weeks only, to commemorate this game-changing event, the Gearheads at ArenaNet are kicking off a contest for racers to score some sweet rewards.
Okay, so I'm not going to play the whole trailer through. There are two things going on here. Let's talk about the game first. So yes, it seems this isn't really a new feature, but an expansion of the Roller Beetle Races adventure idea we saw at the most recent Halloween, and we saw with Long Live the Lich way back when on the original one with the voice acting. How exactly this stuff's going to be implemented, I don't know. But the trailer does very explicitly say in the voiceover that this is a permanent addition to the game. There is going to be a big competition in association with that feature, but these are permanently coming according to the trailer. If we go to the website here in announcement with all of this, you'll see it's showing off 5 new Roller Beetle courses, which have awesome names. The footage in the background of this video largely is going to be me attempting to do those courses based on the art we see in the images on the website. Yeah, a bit clunky, but we'll see how we do. So first of all, they're saying we're going to have the Tropic Valley Raceway. Sounds pretty good, and that's Brisbane Wildlands. Second, they're showing off the Lakeside Loop in Gendaran Fields, the idea going around the lakes of Gendaran. Next is the Infernal Leap in Mount Maelstrom. I really like to see this Mount Maelstrom one because, according to my memory, one of the first interesting player-made Roller Beetle racing courses when Long Live the Lich came out was here in Mount Maelstrom. Looks very good. I wonder how much the devs looked at community stuff to inspire them. Next, you've got Jormag's Fang in Snowdon Drifts. I've talked a lot about Roller Beetle racing through the mountains. They're one of my favorite places to do it, especially with those kind of very rocky, branched over roads and things. Lornar's Pass is pretty notorious for them. And then lastly, there is Ghost Fire Run in Diessa Plateau. So it seems in general what they've done is favored not the starting maps, but the ones after the starting maps. They're all actually accounted for because obviously Silvari and Asura share the same one, that being Brisbane. And then they did an end game map as well way later out there in Mount Maelstrom. So yes, we get these new maps. Beyond that, the devs haven't given us many details on how exactly it will function. Will it be adventures? Will there be a slight change? Are they going to be like the big orbs or rings that we go through in the Halloween race? I would guess a lot of what we saw with Halloween will be copied over since that was the most contemporary stuff and the devs probably liked what they did there. But yeah, I'm really curious. Looking at the maps, it doesn't seem there's too much crazy drifting as we saw in the graveyard, but maybe some of these corners will be really particularly tight and fun. And yeah, that should be permanent. What our incentive to do it will be, I don't know. I'd love to see them incorporated into dailies, maybe. I mean, we already have a bunch of dailies asking us to do adventures. It's not that alien of a concept, right? So if these get filtered in there, it's at least something. This is the kind of thing as well that is definitely cooler when you get huge zergs of players doing it. I cannot wait to see what these maps look like when the patch comes out, especially for the first while this big competition goes on, and that'll be our starting incentive. But long term, yeah, what does the game offer for it? I guess we'll see. It might just end up like all other adventures, and it's not really a problem with the Beetle races. It's just a problem with adventures altogether in terms of how incentivized we are to do them. There's some brilliant adventures throughout Path of Fire, particularly with the Griffin, and these might end up very similar to those. In any case, yes, we've got these maps, and there is the competition to talk about. So what's the prize? It's a car. A fucking car is up for grabs if you're playing Guild Wars 2 Roller Beetle Races. There's so much to dig into here. It's not just a car, there's a lot more. So first of all, you might be thinking this is going to be an actual race where the winner of the actual race in-game gets the car. It's not that, it's a sweepstake. So basically just play the game and you get in for a lucky chance amongst everyone else who played the game and did the thing to get the car. Okay, so what's going to happen is on week 1, if you do the Roller Beetle racing on the Tropic Valley Raceway, it will be for Brisbane Wildlands, that enters you into a prize drawing for week 1. Then there's week 2, which is a different prize at the end. We'll talk about those in a second. Then week 3, then week 4. And after it's all done, anyone who participated in any of the weeks, you don't even have to have done all of the weeks as far as I'm reading this right, gets in for the car. So you're going to have a really, really, really low chance to get the car because everyone will have done at least one race over the month, right? It's a shame that they couldn't find a way to make it so it was an actual tournament and actually the best people were the ones that were participating for the big prizes. Can you imagine how competitive people would have gotten about that? But maybe we'll get enough of that flavor in there anyway. What ArenaNet's done with this competition, this sweepstake, is they've ensured that a ton of people are going to play these, and they're going to be in the adventure UI, presumably, right? Which means that they'll actually be giving us scoreboards, and we'll see who has the top weekly, the top monthly, and, you know, there will actually be, for the first time of all adventures, I think some real prestige to being really high on those boards, because I can't imagine there's ever been an adventure or a set of adventures before now that will have as much participation, as focused as this is here. I guess we'll talk about the grand prize first, the car. Now, they're calling it a Type RBR car, RBR standing for Roller Beetle Racing. Here's what the devs say: you can't ride your Roller Beetle in the real world, really, but you can hit the road in a custom-skinned Type RBR vehicle featuring a unique RBR-inspired design. This ride is a race-ready and sure to turn heads. And we get the screenshot. Now, I don't know whether I'm just not digging into the terms and conditions enough, but they don't actually say anything about what car it is, right? I don't know anything about cars. So what make is this? Anyone fill me in? They're not specific, and I wonder, actually, is that because it's variable? Is the idea this is actually just like a skin for a car that they're paying for and doing? You know, because presumably there's lots of participating countries. If I win the car here in the UK, it's going to have to be a different make to if someone wins it in the US based on left or right wheel drive, right? So are they just going to paint a car specific to what region it is? I really don't know. I mean, getting a car would be freaking awesome no matter what, to be honest, but maybe my bar's pretty low. I can't help but be such a geek in thinking I would love that prize. Yes, because it would be great to win a car, but also just because it's one of the rarest bits of Guild Wars merch, guys. One of a kind. So, yes. The other prizes as well are pretty sweet. Let's talk about them. Week 1, when this all starts, if you participate in a Roller Beetle race, you get in for the grand prize at the very end. But also, there's the week 1 prize. They say it's worth $500, and it's like a gaming setup. It's not actually a PC, but it's a nice gaming keyboard and mouse and headset and like an RGB mat. In general, these are the kind of things I view as tat. If you guys know much about me, you know I have a very simple keyboard. I do actually shed out for an MMO mouse, but that's about as crazy as I get. I don't know. It'd be fun, obviously, to win, but nothing too crazy in my opinion. Week 2, the prize is better, and what's going to happen is they keep getting worth more and more. We go from a rough value of $500 to $4,500. Week 2, if you win, it's going to be an Alienware Aurora R7 gaming PC. And I'll tell you something as well, through what I understand with stuff like this, is there will be 1 billion people playing on week 1, because, you know, it's hype and it's new and everyone will be there. But I bet week 2 attendance will be a lot lower, which actually means, in theory, your chance of winning the week 2 prize, the week 3 and the week 4 should go up and up and up as people start forgetting that the competition is going in. And, you know, people have very short attention spans, believe it or not. And even with a huge jump up in prize value, I'm sure it won't offset that. So, yeah, maybe something to be excited about here. I don't really keep up with Alienware branding specifics. I don't know what their R7 gaming PC is, how great it is. But Alienware's whole shtick, essentially, is to be extremely overpriced in the name of flair and style. Which, you know, you may judge and you may criticize, but I'll tell you one thing. It does mean Alienware stuff is very good for giveaways when you're a company, and that's what we see here. So, really nice PC. Week 3... they're going with a TV. So right now it's still been sort of Guild Wars-y, gamey related. For week 3, I guess they're just throwing that out the window. I mean, the grand prize is a car. So it's not really something they have to think about too closely. Week 3, it becomes a 55-inch television and soundbar worth $5 grand. And they don't really give many specs. I don't know whether it's like a low latency TV that you can plug in your HDMI cable stream from your PC so you can play some Guild Wars 2 on the big TV. I'll tell you what you can do on it. You can watch some sweet Wooden Potatoes videos on the big screen. So yeah, that's supposedly worth $5,000, a little bit more than the PC. And then finally you got week 4, which is car themed, I guess. Week 4 is a trip for 2, one person and their guest, to a sand dunes tour in California. They're saying that the whole trip is worth $10,000, and it does sound pretty cool. I remember when I was in Dubai, that sand dune tours and trips and things were a pretty big touristy thing. Not that I've ever done one. If you don't like the idea of going to California, if you're scared of flying, if whatever, you think it's stupid, you can just claim $8,000 off of them. They won't give you like the full supposed $10,000 prize value, but you can just win $8,000 straight up, which might excite some of you more, a little bit less flavorful. This is what I mean. It's not really Guild Wars related anymore. It's not like, oh, go to the west coast of the US and a dev will fly out and say hi and shake your hand for playing with the roller beetles or anything. No. It's just all offset to these, prize companies, however this was done with the marketing team. And so, yeah, there's all the prize. That's what you're competing for. I do estimate your odds increase week after week. By week 4, honestly, the number of people participating will have dropped. I'm sure of it. I don't know by how much, and you'll still have a minuscule chance, let's be real. But hey, you were probably going to play the races anyway, I will note as well, not to forget, not to be remiss, every week also, if you don't win the big prize, they're giving 10 people mouse mats. We don't know much about what they are. I would guess they're probably like roller beetle themed. The devs have probably printed something on there. And that as well actually is pretty exciting. I wouldn't mind getting one of those off eBay or something if they are actual Guild Wars 2 merch that there's only ever going to be 40 in existence. That's kind of a cool idea. But I haven't seen much more. They say they're not worth very much on the press page. I probably wouldn't have included that they're worth $12 on there. That makes them sound crap. So yes, there's all of that. Now let's talk about in-game again. There are in-game rewards. But I think the in-game rewards are still only associated with this next month of participation. I don't think that these rewards we're about to talk about are permanent. It might be nice if they are, and then that can obviously feed into our discussion earlier about our incentive to keep playing these in the coming months. But they just say this. It's on the trailer, really. You have to get this information. It's not on the actual website. Gear, tonics, and achievements. I'm guessing the tonic will turn you into roller beetles. Black Beast of Arg, that would be pretty cool. You'll notice here that there's no roller beetle skin as a prize. I think that would have been really good, a mount skin. But I guess they've got some kind of hard and fast rule to never give a mount skin unless it's from the gem store, which I'm not actually totally against. That's a different discussion. Achievements, who really cares? What's that going to be? But then it says gear. Well, I know some of you are going to be wondering about that. Well, on the trailer, we see this chick here who is wearing goggles. I know there's already goggles in the game. Is that a new type of goggles? It just reminds me of the dry top ones to me. But there's that long scarf. That's definitely new. And I reckon that'll probably look quite good when you're on your roller beetle charging along. Maybe some of the rest of it's different as well. But that's really what I can pick at. So basically, if you play this, you can pretend to yourself that you'll win a gaming PC or a TV or a car. But more likely, you're going to win a scarf and stuff in-game. And hey, maybe that's enough. They say to enter, you need to have a free-to-play account. That's it, or better, obviously. And then make sure you're opt-in for newsletters. If you're a geek like me, you've probably already got that. But if not, you can do it on the website there. There'll be a link in the description. And then you just go in-game and you just play the roller beetle races, apparently. And that's it. I don't know whether there'll be like an icon on the UI saying you are flagged for participation. I don't know whether they'll have that like gold starburst at the top right reminding people this is going on. It's kind of funny that this comes out right at the same time as Dwayne's Duos and the 2v2s. And this is where all the marketing money is. It's not win a car for beating Dwayne's Duos. We're going esports again, guys. No. Dwayne's Duos, they just do it in-game. And it's roller beetle racing that gets the budget for all the marketing stuff. I'm sure that some ex-PvPers have got something to say about that. But hey, we must move on. It's worth noting as well that there are only a selection of participating countries. I'm on the list, the United Kingdom. So Naturally, I don't care much about this, and I lack sympathy because I'm not a very nice human being. But there's a chance you don't qualify. Apparently, Russia qualifies, and that's quite curious. They even have the entire page written out in Russian for people. But yes, a lot of people are sort of saying they're not in it. I think there's a lot of EU countries that are excluded. The discussion on this event right now in the early hours is honestly quite boring just because of the sheer quantity of comments from people simply noting, oh, I can't qualify. Great. Well, when that baggage goes away, hopefully we'll see how the rest of the event pans out. Another interesting note with this is they did say Long Live the Lich is going to be free until January 7th. You might think, well, why? Well, Long Live the Lich was obviously the release that introduced the roller beetles. And this is weird to me. You would think that this whole thing is to market to external people, players that aren't really interested in Guild Wars. I don't know how well it will accomplish that. We'll talk about that in a second. But then they'll pick up the game and they'll realize they need to pay gems to get the Beetle to go forward. Maybe they feel like that would tarnish the entire idea. They want anyone and everyone in the world to be able to do this. Get a free-to-play account. You have free access. Oh, wait, hold on. But do you get the release? Do you get the Living World release on a free-to-play account? While Long Live the Lich is free? I guess you must, right? Otherwise, but the idea is they want anyone to just be able to pick up the game, go in and get it. I wonder what that means for people who are going to try and multi-account and multi-box to like scam it, essentially. Can you roll for entry twice? I don't know what the devs are doing on the back end to prevent people doing that. The other thing that's interesting here, obviously, is that January 7th date. Does that mean Living World doesn't return until January 7th? That would be unfortunate. I don't actually know whether that's true. I don't know why January 7th's picked, but there's no sign, there's no suggestion that they won't overlap the two. You might realize by the time the grand prize is coming out, the next episode is here anyway. I don't think that these are necessarily mutually exclusive just because they're still offering the roller beetles for free. It does kind of make Long Live the Lich an interesting release amongst all of its peers in how much it's been free for so long. I'm not sure whether there's too much else to say. Other little notes, there are actually two versions of the trailer. One completely without voiceovers. I would have been shown a bit of on the footage. Not much really to discern from it. Only 5 people had viewed it by the time I got to it. Pretty cool. Interestingly as well, this whole competition is not being shown or delivered through guildwars2.com right now. I'm sure by the time I put this video up, there will have been loads of updates and extra information, as there always is. But as of right now, guildwars2.com doesn't show anything. This is on arenanet.com, a website I haven't been on in ages, almost forgot about. I can't help but mouse over their Our Games section at the top, which clearly says Guild Wars, Guild Wars 2, and has space for loads of other games, and it isn't currently filled in, and wondered if we'll see that happen someday. And last to speak about in the video, let's talk about the value of this. Will it be worth it? Is it worth it? It's kind of nice to see that ArenaNet has so much cash to burn on a crazy, like, extravagant thing like this. It makes this franchise feel pretty AAA and, you know, heavy-hitting that they'll do a competition like this. But in terms of actual practical application, am I going to see an R Games thread over on Reddit now where people are talking about Guild Wars 2 again because they're giving away a car? Am I going to see that anywhere these kinds of discussions go in real life? A word of mouth, will it be a thing? They got me, a YouTuber in the scene, speaking to people who already play the game to talk about it, but how much outside appeal would it have? I don't know. I don't have a clue, really. Is a car really the best thing to reach other gamers? Maybe you guys can talk about that down below. Particularly what I want to hear this is any testimonies from those of you watching this video who think over the next month or so, this might galvanize discussion amongst your peers about Guild Wars 2 you would not have had otherwise. Those kinds of comments, I'd be very interested to see how many there are. There is obviously a reasonable degree of other rabble right now where people are saying, wow, they should have spent this money on a new raid wing. Or, oh, they should have spent this money on getting the next Living World update out quicker. Which are discussions we've had many times over the years, particularly back with the more aggressive marketing pushes for esports when it came to Guild Wars. And I can't say I have any particular enthusiasm for running in circles about again and describing to people simple facts about how companies and teams work. So I guess I'll leave it there. There you go, guys. The Beetle car available. Good luck. I will be trying for this car. And if I do win this car, I will do an unboxing video for you all. I guarantee it. In fact, if you win this car, but you give me this car, I will also do an unboxing video. Thanks in advance for your generosity. and I will see you next time.